And welcome back, everyone. Someone whose name I forgot to write down. Light Yagami versus Hannibal Lecter. Both are insanely intelligent. Both are serial killers. But one, though, is, deluded in having a god complex. The other kind of knows he's not normal, but this is who he is. And he's happy with who he is. Like, he will improve society one meal at a time, kind of. Like, that's the thing. Hannibal Lecter is a little bit more is kind of like a Dexter type in the sense that he does select his victim. It's not random. I mean, yeah, when he was being kind of targeted by people trying to hunt him down, he did it for self-preservation, sure, and he did it, coldly without any issue. But in terms of like who his victims are, as a murderer, he is a little bit more picky and choosy that way. A perfect example would be in Red Dragon, where he said, when they did talked about like the missing, what was it, flutist or something like that, the missing instrumentalist. They talked about he wanted to improve the sound of the orchestra. So he that's why he did it. Like, there is method to his madness, but make no mistake, it is madness. Like, there's the famous shot of him biting the woman's face, like an animal. And so he is still insane. It's just there is a method to the real Matt. And of course, he had been incarcerated at that point too. If that woman had met him on a day-to-day function, not knowing who he was, there's a good chance he would never have targeted her, because there would be no reason to target her. That said, though, if we're really being honest about this, there's two ways we could go about this. One is the very obvious answer, the real answer, which is why this is a short video. Or B, let's look at it from a longer perspective. Could Light, on his own means, without any help, supernatural or otherwise, figure out Hannibal Lecter's identity, which that'd be easy, he'd be a public figure in this world, and then figure out a way to kill him? The answer to that is probably no. Light, for all his intelligence, really isn't that smart. If I'm going to be honest, yeah, from an academic perspective, Light is smart. He is smart. He's very intelligent. He's arguably a genius. But that's from an academic school perspective. From a real-world perspective, he's still only a kid in his teens. He does not have real-world experience. He does not have a lot of maturity to him. He does and he doesn't. But he's very immature in other ways. Like when he's dying, he starts crying and babbling like a little bitch. It's like, that's what's supposed to happen. It's like, oh no. It's almost like this entire plan of yours was bad from the beginning. It's almost like you're not a god. You're a little guy high on his own ego. Like, that's really what the whole series came down to in the end. He's just a little shit high on his own ego. That's what it came down to. And Lecter is shown to be able to keep a very calm and cool head even under extreme circumstances. So unfortunately for Light, yeah, it's not a good position he's in against someone like him without the access to the Death Note. But so actually, if these two were like in conversation with each other, I could see kind of being like a fun little like they sit down, play chess, talk about ideologies, why they do what they do, and then one kills the other. Unfortunately, I'd see it totally being Lecter. In fact, Light, I could argue, might be one of those characters Lecter would target because maybe just gets him, like stabs him, like grabs him, because he is an adult man versus a kid. Teen, but kid. It just sounds right in the chest, like, oh, it's like, you know something, Light. I want you to know, I respect anyone who wants to take matters into their own hands. But unfortunately, there's only one God in this world, child, and we only need the one. And I just need that one. It's like, a truth be told, I haven't had veal in a while. Like, comparison to veal because he's a young kid, which is, you know what? That's another thing. To be very clear, Lecter does have some code. As far as we know, he's never eaten a kid. But as far let's see, does Hannibal Lecter eat children? It's a legit question. Hannibal Lecter, we know he eats women. I'm pretty sure he does eat women. Does Hannibal Lecter eat children? Not Jock. Let's see. I don't think. In Thomas' novels, Lecter cannibal is an essentially element of character, but he does not typically eat children. His victims are usually adults, often people who have wronged him in some way. The only exception with this is his sister, but that was murder, cannibalism when he was a child in order to survive. That was a very different circumstance. But okay, yeah, he does have a code of where he normally doesn't eat kids, and it's people who have wronged him. Normally are the people he goes after. So that being said, Light still being a teenager probably falls on the cusp, and he's like, "You want to act like a man? I hope you taste like a man." Like I could see something like that. So in a circumstance where there's nothing supernatural at Light's disposal, yeah, Light I think loses that confrontation. But let's be real about this. Hannibal Lecter's a known figure in the world. And Light was literally killing people in prison because he could look up the most wanted list, all that, records. So Hannibal Lecter would die of a heart attack instantly. Like, Light would take him out instantly. So in the more long thought out scenario where these two are playing cat and mouse, ultimately confront each other, have like a battle of intellects only for Lecter to show he's the actual psychopath here, Light loses, I think. I think I'm very comfortable saying Light loses. But in a circumstance where these guys have their peak capabilities, let's say, well, Lecter drops dead instantly. Literally. So, yeah, my money would go on Light in the realistic version of the fight, or the more logical version of the fight. But I would give it to Lecter in the more thought out, give them both a chance type of scenario. Anyway, that's my thoughts. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I'll see you next time.